Hey guys, welcome back to JSChronicle, and today I am going to do the timeline of events in the Sonic movie franchise. Honestly, if I'm going to be honest, it's kind of impressive that this whole thing even exists. It's because I don't think I would have been making this if there wasn't a fan backlash over the original design and they changed it. Because I don't think anyone would have seen it. But people did see it, and yeah, now we got this movie franchise. But yeah, enough wasting time. Let's actually get to the first event to happen in the Sonic movie franchise is when the Owls and Echidnas start their century-long fight for the Master Emerald. The Owls hide the Master Emerald in the Pacific Ocean, and now we don't know when this exactly occurs, only that it's centuries before the events of Sonic 2. Tails mentions that they have been fighting for centuries, but it's unknown when they actually started fighting. It could have been 100 years ago or 100,000 years ago. So I just kind of put 500 years because I just kind of put a random one. Unless a future Sonic movie project confirms when they started fighting, I'm gonna go with 500 years before Sonic 2. Moving forward, 449 years on Earth, we get to Project Shadow, which appears in Sonic 3. Shadow crashes on Earth and is experimented on by Gerald Robotnik. His granddaughter Maria befriends Shadow until Gunn believes Shadow to be a threat and invades the facility, causing an explosion, killing Maria and arresting Gerald. Shadow is placed in suspended animation for the next 50 years. Also important to note is that in the Knuckles episode 6, there was a mention of an alien who visited the 1974 bowling championship. It is unknown if this is referring to Shadow or someone else. It's never really been confirmed. But I'm putting it here just in case this is an important, a later movie, whatever it was, Shadow or not. We don't know. But, yeah, I just put it here just because it could be important later on. 30 years later, but still before any actual movies, is the coup in Pakistan and the uprising in Azerbaijanistan. We don't know much about this because it's only referenced in a line in the first movie before Robotnik is introduced.
Remember the coup in Pakistan? No. Or the uprising in Azerbaijanistan? It's not even a country. Exactly. And you can thank Robotnik for that.
It seems to have been some kind of international conflict which led to Pakistan and Azerbaijan to be combined before ultimately splitting up, and apparently somehow Dr. Ivo Robotnik was involved in all this, okay? Again, like the 1974 bowling championship, I'm putting it here just in case it's important later on. It's not even known if it occurred in 2007. I just put it here just because it could have happened at pretty much any point before Sonic 1. So I kind of just put it 15 years before Sonic 1 because I don't know, I just kind of feel like this would have happened in 2007. I don't know why. But yeah. Finally, we get to the opening scene of Sonic 1, where Sonic is running around Mobius until Echidnas attack Longclaw's home. They kill Longclaw, but not before Sonic flees to Earth, more specifically Green Hills, Montana. Later on, the Owls attack the Echidnas and kill Knuckles' father and Chief Pachymachak, showing the musical number in the Knuckles episode, The Flames of Disaster. I do believe that the events that happened in that episode actually did happen, just didn't look like this. So yeah, keep that in mind. This also leads to Knuckles to go on a search to find the Flames of Disaster for many years. 6 years later, Knuckles finally finds Iblis, who holds the Flames of Disaster. They fight until Knuckles kills Iblis and takes the Flames of Disaster for himself. Again, we don't know when this happens, only that it's sometime between the death of the Echidnas and the events of Sonic 2. I put it as 2018, which is 5 years before the events of Sonic 2, which we will soon get to. Finally, we make it to the actual first Sonic movie, which takes place in June 2022. It is actually set in June for reasons I'll explain later. I'll give a brief plot summary of the important stuff for the timeline if you're interested. This movie is actually free on YouTube right now, So, I don't know, you can watch it after this video, but yeah. Anyway, after 10 years of living in Green Hills, Montana, Sonic gets lonely and is so lonely that he causes an energy surge at a baseball game. The government hires Dr. Ivo Robotnik, who is Joe Robotnik's grandson and Maria Robotnik's cousin, and was also responsible for the whole Azerbaijanistan thing. They hire him to investigate the energy surge. Meanwhile, Sonic is planning to escape Earth to a mushroom planet, but is shot by local sheriff Tom Wachowski and loses his rings in San Francisco. Ivo Robotnik visits Tom and finds Sonic and a quill. Tom punches him and is labeled as a terrorist. They then go on a road trip to San Francisco to find the rings and escape Robotnik. They see the world's largest rubber band ball, they cause a bar fight, and they get ambushed by Robotnik. The latter gets Sonic injured, so Tom goes to San Francisco where Sonic gets his iconic shoes. The next day, Tom and Maddie get to the Transamerica Pyramid, where the rings are, and Robotnik then arrives and shoots at everyone, and Tom and Maddie are about to fall to their death, but then Sonic uses a ring to send them to Green Hills. While Sonic runs through San Francisco, causing a lot of property damage, he then runs through Paris, China, Egypt, before making his way back to Green Hills, where he regains his full power and sends Robotnik to the Mushroom Planet. Later on, Tom and Maddie also adopt Sonic. The next thing that happens is the Sonic 2 prequel comic, which takes place in early 2023 due to the fact that there was snow on the ground, but it's not Christmas since kids are in school. It's mainly stories unconnected to each other, but they do set up Sonic 2. Sonic stops a Walla Walla, Washington bank robbery, Agent Stone takes over the Mean Bean coffee shop, Tails searches for Sonic, Knuckles kills a giant enemy crab, and also confirms that the Chaotix exists, and Eggman fights mushroom monsters. Again, it's not, important, but, it is, considered canon in, this whole, thing, so I will be keeping it in, and, so, yeah. Next up is Sonic the Hedgehog 2, set in February 2023. Once again, I will do a brief recap of Sonic 2. 8 months after the events of the first movie, Dr. Ivo Robotnik is still stuck on the Mushroom Planet and builds a machine to return to Earth, which he fails, but Knuckles shows up, who wants his Sonic Quill. Meanwhile on Earth, Sonic gets into trouble after causing an explosion in Seattle, while Tom goes to Hawaii for Rachel's wedding. Tails finally makes it to Earth to meet Sonic. Knuckles and Eggman arrive at Tom's house, and Knuckles demands the Master Emerald. Tails saves Sonic in a police car while Knuckles chases them. Eggman teams up with Agent Stone, and Sonic and Tails escape to Siberia and do an Uptown Funk dance, which feels more 2015 than 2023, but anyway, they then find a compass in the temple, but are ambushed by Eggman and Knuckles. Sonic tells Tom to use a ring to get them to Hawaii and completely ruins the wedding, but it doesn't matter because apparently the wedding was a whole operation by gun, which was formed after the events of the first, even though they apparently exist in the 70s. But the main operation was to capture Sonic and Tails. Knuckles and Eggman go to the Pacific Ocean because that's where the Master Emerald is at. Sonic and Knuckles fight, but Eggman gets Master Emerald, which causes the temple to collapse. Sonic nearly drowns, but Knuckles saves him. Tails rescues both with his biplane, and they go to Green Hills, where Eggman has a giant Master Emerald-powered robot. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles reclaim the Master Emerald, which collapses into 7 emeralds, where he transforms into Super Sonic and destroys the robot, and Eggman goes missing. Tom and Maddie then adopt Tails and Knuckles. These next two aren't really that important within the whole franchise, but I thought I'd mention them. Sonic Drone Home is a short that was released with the home media releases of Sonic 2, which involved Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles encountering badniks in a junkyard. It could easily just be set in between Sonic 2 and 3. Same with Knuckles, which isn't really that important. Wade meets his dad, and Patrick McHack sends Wade for the musical, which is based on Knuckles' story, which is where I got all the whole stuff from the beginning. But yeah. Finally waited to the most recent film in this franchise, Sonic 3. Someone hacks a gun facility and unleashes Shadow, who breaks out and attacks Tokyo. Meanwhile, Sonic is celebrating his birthday, which I'll explain later. But anyway, when a gun director approaches them and sends them to Tokyo to take care of the Shadow situation, and Shadow beats him up so that they can go So they then go to the Chow Garden, and they talk to Commander Walters, who was there during the Robotnik shooting in 1974, who gives them a key card before he is killed when badniks attack the Chow Garden. Agent Stone saves them and leads to Robotnik, who has been living in a giant badnik, and he has gained a lot of weight. They meet Ivo's grandfather Gerald, who has stayed alive using one of Shadow's quills, and they need 2 key cards for this Eclipse cannon to work, and Team Sonic has one of them. They go to London to find the other, which is in Gun HQ. Shadow steals the key card from Tails. Tom and Maddie steal the other key card, but Shadow gets reminded of Walters and nearly kills Tom, which causes Sonic to feel how Shadow feels all the time. Tails and Knuckles get to the Eclipse cannon and kill Gerald, while Sonic fights Shadow all over the world. They then turn to Super Sonic and Super Shadow and block the cannon beams and Ivo. Tails and Knuckles steer the cannon away, but this caused Eggman to piss on the moon. Ivo announces to Stone that he is his only friend and before dying. For now. And Shadow's alive too, just don't. Now I'm going to explain why I dated these movies the way I did. Now, the only movie with a confirmed date is Sonic 3, since in the scene where Shadow is in Tokyo, he sees a billboard saying that it is 2024. And you can also briefly see a sign that is advertising a movie called Chow in Space, or at least the roadshow that occurs on June 23rd, 2024. If you don't know what that means, it's when a movie has a release in limited theaters before it gets a wide release. Now, if they're advertising something like that, then it must be pretty close release. So that is why I put Sonic 3 as June 2024. Now, that one was pretty easy, but the other two were pretty hard to find dates for. First off, I had to figure out what the Earth Day in Sonic 3 meant. They explain that it's the anniversary of the day Sonic went to Earth. That makes sense at first, but when you think about it, it's kind of strange. How would Sonic, who just went to this planet, know what the day was? I don't think Tom and Maddie were there when he came to Earth either. They don't even specify how many years it's been since that. There's no answer, so I had to make my own theory. I'm making a theory that Crazy Carl was there when Sonic came to Earth. If you remember who that is, that was the crazy old guy from the first movie who drew that picture of Sonic. Let's say he was in the woods that day, and he was so shocked that he still remembers that day and has been trying to catch him for 10 years. I also like this idea since in the Sonic 1 deleted scene, it's established that he knows the Wachowskis really well, so he likely told Tom, or Tom's father told Tom about the Blue Devil, and Tom could have remembered the date, especially when he found out that the Blue Devil was Sonic. So that is my explanation for the Earth Day. Now, I couldn't find anything really for the events of Sonic 1, but I like the idea that it just takes place the exact date after 10 years. So that's why I put June 2022. And with that, Sonic 2 is pretty easy since it takes place 243 days or 8 months later, which would mean that it would take place in February 2023. I also like that date since the prequel comic is likely set around January. Because like I said, there's snow on the ground, but it can't be Christmas since the kids are in school. And I feel that 2022 is a good year for the first movie, since it's not too long of a year gap between Sonic 1 and Sonic 3. But they also say that it's been years since Sonic came to Earth. So I think that kind of works pretty well. So yeah, that was my updated Sonic timeline. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.